Hi there, and welcome to Home Studio Rescue. My name is Chris, and today I'm going to be talking to you about why your recordings suck. And I'll just get into it. You try to fix it in the mix. This is why your mixes take forever, because when you are recording stuff, you're putting off the sound or just thinking that, hey, I'm just going to get the basic sound and then fix it in the mix instead of trying to get like a great tone right off the bat. You think you can do it in Pro Tools or while you're mixing. And I used to actually do this at one point when I was recording drums. I would put a 57 in the kick drum because I knew I was just going to trigger it later. And eventually I got better and I started trying to get the best sound I could right away. And a lot of times when I'm mixing, or when I'm working with a band, we'll get into the mix phase and they'll say something like, hey, make it sound like the Foo Fighters, or make it sound like, I don't know, name a band, Tame Impala. And it's like, really, when you're in the mix phase, it's too late. Like, that should have been happening from the start. Like, if you want the snare sound from Thriller, then we should have been shooting for that and deadening that snare and, like covering it up, not getting this full Led Zeppelin style sound snare drum. If you want it to sound like something, we need to get it from the start. So that's reason number one. Number two, especially working in with MIDI and trying to make drums like in the computer, we quantize everything. I'm guilty of this too. And sometimes all it takes is moving the snare drum up a little bit, or kind of putting the piano just a tad behind the drums, or the bass a tad behind, or having something push a little bit. In a real band, everybody's kind of playing in their own way. Like, I was in a band where our drummer would play behind the beat and I played a little bit ahead of the beat, and that kind of created whatever feel we had, whatever kind of groove. And so if everything's just slapped right to the grid, it's going to sound like a robot. So you need to move things around and kind of try to like almost give it like a band feel. Three, your strings are 2 years old. I get this a lot. People show up with just strings that they haven't changed in 2 years and wonder why it sounds dead. This goes for bass, this goes for guitar, acoustic guitar, all that stuff. Change your strings. It will make the tone massively better. It will improve your recordings immediately. Change your strings. You don't move the mic. When you're recording, you just kind of like put it in the spot that you think it should be. And if you don't like the tone, you just kind of think, I'm going to fix it in the mix. So really, like, the best way to kind of hear what you can do is take a 57, put on headphones, have someone play an acoustic, and move the 57 around. And all of a sudden you'll realize that, hey, the 57 isn't too bright or too dull or too whatever. It's that it's where the mic is placed. And so moving the mic is very important. If you don't like how something sounds, try to move the mic, especially when most people don't know they're getting a proximity effect, where when you put a microphone closer to whatever the source is, like if I talk into the mic like this, there's more bass in my voice. That's because I'm too close to the mic. So you need to move the microphone around, and there is proximity effect. The closer you get to the mic, the more boomy it's going to get. Number five, you have too many tracks. So a lot of times when layering guitars, when I'm with bands or whatnot, instead of saying, hey, maybe the tone that we have for the track we just recorded, maybe that's not right. Instead of saying that, it's let's add more tracks. Let's thicken it up that way. And in reality, it's just making it more muddy. Some of the biggest sounding tracks I've ever done have been the ones that have had the like the lowest track count, where, instead, like maybe there's one track of guitar during the verse and then it goes to stereo during the chorus or something like that. But it doesn't mean we have two doubles of everything, or, quadruples and all this stuff. Sometimes less tracks sound bigger. All right, number six, you don't start with the end in mind. This kind of goes back to the whole idea of, if you want it to sound like the Foo Fighters or Everlong or name a song, if you want the guitar tone to sound a certain way, then you need to have the guitar sounding that way in the room before we record it. Same thing with the drums. Really, I mean, the drums, you get what you put in. And so when you're recording drums or recording guitar, the audio engineer is just capturing what they get. Some people can take that stuff and make it much better. They can enhance it, and they're just wizards. But most of the time you're putting a mic in front of a cab and you're getting the sound of what that sounds like. And really the job of an engineer is just kind of to take like an audio picture of that. They're not really there to just take that and make it into this thing. It needs to sound like that in the room. And if it doesn't sound that way in the room, it's going to be hard to make it sound like that in the recording. So with all that said, this is why your recordings suck. It's why my recordings suck. I've had to learn this the hard way. If you got any kind of value out of this video, or you disagree with anything I've said, please leave a comment below. Smash the like button. And I have a home studio buyer's guide at homestudiorescue.com. You can download that for free. I also have a couple of blogs and things there that you could check out. It would be awesome if you do, and I'll catch you on the next one.